Hello everyone. How are we all doing? I trust you're all doing well. Oh, you're here already. Okay. Send me a request so you can join in. Alright.
Good
And
evening.
we're having good evening. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you too?
I'm doing well. How's your day been? How's work?
Fine,
School?
fine. Everything's going well.
That's great. That's great. And do a review of the book and tell us how your writing life or the life of an author has been for you. So let's let's get to meet you first. Let's get
Okay.
to meet you.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Bello Temitope by name, a recent graduate of Lagos State University, Biology Education, and of course, the author of
Ah,
the letter to a dear
right.
teenager.
Congratulations, congratulations.
Thank
Congra-
you.
Okay, I'm going to be asking you a few questions. I'm going to be asking you a few questions. Okay, let's start with what inspired the book. What inspired Letter to a Dear Teenager? Because yes, um, we all started from somewhere. Something has to inspire something. Like, yeah, you have to feel something before you do something, all right? So let's know why you wrote this book.
Okay, funny enough, I get this question almost every time. What inspired the book? Letter to a Dear Teenager was better from a vision to transform the teenage world. We cannot deny the fact that there are so many indecisive teenagers out there who do not know what step to take, what next to do, and we all went through this stage. We faced so many challenges, the body changes, the negative body images, so many problems that come with the teenage life. So Letter to a Dear Teenager was written with a vision and a purpose to just change the narrative that people have that is just a teenager. No, you're not just a teenager, you're an amazing teenager. There is so much inside
Yeah.
of you for the world to see. So that's what brought about Letter to a Dear Teenager.
Wow. Wow. Amazing. This is really beautiful because then there are some things we really need to start talking about. Solutions only come if there is a problem. So I think Letter to a Dear Teenager is a solution to the already existing problem in what we have in the year of teenager and your teenage year. All right.
Yeah.
So, as an author, how has your experience been so far? Has the life been? Has writing been for you? When did you start? Just let us know how it has been.
Writing has been something that I've been doing for a very long time. It's something I love doing right from time, primary school, secondary school. I just love writing. But writing a book, I read a lot and I just tell myself that someday I'm going to have books, not just a book written in my name. So I'm happy that now it has happened, and yes, and we're not stopping. We're not stopping anytime soon. Definitely, by God's grace, there's still going to be more books. Then my experience being an author, it has been an amazing one, honestly, and it has helped me to put my feet on track. It has just helped me to stay on track. People just want to judge your life with what you wrote in the book, so you just cannot
Yeah,
automatically being an author. You just have to do things the way you have written it in the book. You don't want to go astray. You don't want people to give you negative news because
that's
oh, you wrote it in your book and you're just doing something else.
exactly.
So you
You're
just
doing
have to
something
stay
else.
focused. That's it.
Wow. Would I say it must have really been, or it's been a tough one for you because you have to really like meet up to the expectations of people,
It has
right?
not very tough actually because it is something I've been doing, but you just have to put in extra effort. That's it. Yeah.
I reviewed your book and you actually talked about yourself while growing up, how you had this emotional you felt emotion, you felt some emotions, like you were not really happy with how you were, like say how your nature was, like being a slim person, and then people tend to call you names and all that. How, let us know how you were able to pass through that phase.
Okay. I'm still very slim actually, but you know, growing up and everybody
But
just
very beautiful, really
thank
beautiful.
you, thank you. You know, growing
Yeah.
up, you have maybe unfortunately, I don't know how it is, but I just grew up with people that have very rapid growth, and it's just me there. I'm like, is it that I'm not growing? Do I have a problem? Is something wrong with me? Days of crying,
Mm.
breathing, doing so many things just to increase. Thankfully, I'm very thankful that I didn't increase that much, but it was really sad growing up. But that's why it's part of what gave the vision for the book. Do you understand? Because I feel like there are teenagers in there, people that are not even slim, they are fat. They feel like they are too fat, they are too slim, this, that. So if I could conquer, I feel like then everybody can conquer that stage and low self-esteem, negative body image problem. So that's
Yeah, it's one thing. It's one thing to be proud of yourself. Like I like that the book advised us to be proud of who we are as a person. Like you don't have to look at what people say about you. We all have different natures and how we would grow in how our process to become successful will be. So nobody should ever talk you down. I
yes, yes.
like that book talks about that. Okay. I would like to ask, like, do you have other books apart from Letter to a Dear Teenager? Like, do you have other books that you're writing presently, or you're published, or yet to publish,
Yes,
or
yes,
yet to
yes.
publish?
Yet to publish. Still in the process, still writing it. Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to give us a little tips on what you
It's
have?
still about the teenage life. Yes. My
Mm,
passion, teenage is just I don't know. I feel like that was my calling. That's where I'm being called to. And there's a lot to be done in the teenage world. There's a lot to reform. People need to go through a lot of flushing. Like there's so many things going wrong with teenagers. So it's just another book to buttress the point that teenagers are amazing teenagers. It's going to talk about a lot of things. Yeah, sure. Is
I really
becoming
appreciate
from the
it.
chapter 3 of this book, becoming a better teenager. So this is now putting it in action. So that's good.
Mm, that's really amazing. Like you've given a workbook, and now
Yeah.
you're guiding people. It's really nice. It's really nice. I would really tell people, like I tell people when I reviewed the book, I read through the book, I was like, wow, more people need to see this. Like people need to see this, even parents. Like so they see that, oh, this is the way, or this can be let's say guidelines for them to see that, oh, teenagers have natures, like things will happen,
Yeah.
things will tend to occur while they are growing up, and you just have to take it easy with them. Do not rush them. Do not try to speak ill of them. Like
Yeah,
just
our parents
encourage
have
them to
a
be the
lot
best.
to do. They have a lot to do. Parents have a lot to do because they really have a lot to do in the life of a teenager. That's they have a lot to do.
Yeah,
You cannot emphasize the importance or the role of a parent in the life of a teenager.
yeah. Okay, tell us how did your parents treat you? Like I knew you talked about facing all the emotional traumas and all those. Like how did your parents take that? Were you able to talk to them about it or something?
Well, no, I didn't talk to them about it, but the fact that we
Mm.
are very close, you understand, you just notice that okay, something is wrong, and they were able to fit in and just tell me, this is, I understand what you're going through, I understand this, I understand that, and they just had a way of putting me through, telling me things, and just helps me regain my self-esteem. That's why I said the importance of parents in the life of a teenager cannot be overemphasized. Even if your child is not the talking type of child, is not the talking child, you need to spend time with them. You need to understand their silence. You need to understand that there's a lot that they're not saying, even in their silence. So parents have a lot to do in the life of a teenager. That's
Yeah. Yeah, I really agree with that. I totally agree with that. Like, they are the number one person in any teenager's
Yeah,
life. They are the
yes, they are
first
the first
person.
point of contact of a teenager. They are the first person. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. You wrote that it is uncommon to see indecisive teenagers with no idea of what they want to
Yeah.
be, and most times the parents not knowing how to handle them. What would you tell the teenagers now, and then the parents? What do you think is the best way to tackle this situation?
I studied education in school and I had the opportunity to work in two schools. So I really dealt with teenagers, you understand? And I just see that it's sad. It's very common. You just see teenagers out there that do not know what to do. They don't even know what's next. Some of them are doing stuff because their parents want them to do it, some peer pressure. So first is the parents. They have to realize that okay, your child is just a teenager, your child is leaving the childhood stage, your child is becoming an adult. They are in between being a child and being an adult. They are no longer a child, they are no longer children, but still they are not fully adults. So at this point, they need you the most. Once the parents realize
Exactly.
that, then they'll stop getting unnecessarily angry over their emotional changes, over a lot of things. Instead, they realize that okay, at this point, this is where my child needs me the most. They do not need me to be unstable about their life. You need to pay so much attention to your teenager at this point. So my advice to the parents
Yeah.
is to pay attention to the child, like develop a very strong parents to child relationship. It is very important. You have to develop that parent child relationship. And for the teenagers, my advice to the teenagers is basically about peer pressure. Do not, you have, it is okay to say no in situations that are not favoring you, in crazy situations, but it is okay to say no. Once you see that the situation is going against the way you are being taught, of course, you know that your parents will teach
Stand
you
your
basically
ground.
right. So once you know that it is going against what you are taught, it's going the wrong way, it is okay to say no. And it's okay to say a very strong no. You might be, let's say, you might be bullied at that point when you say no. But at the end of the day, you'll be glad that you said no.
Exactly. Which
So
is very true.
that's my advice to the teenagers. It is okay to say no. Say no when you have to say no and be firm about your no.
But I think this also boils down to value, because when you have a good upbringing, like if you're being trained by your parents well, you understand what is right or not right, and then it's easy for you to say no. But then when you're not being taught about something, you don't really understand what it is. When anybody tells you this, you follow. When anybody tells you that, you follow, because there is no understanding of what your ground should be. So what's your take on that? Like, would you say is the fault of the parent or the children?
For me, I think it's the parents because God has given you a responsibility to nurture this child. The Bible says, train up your child in the way it should grow. That means you have a responsibility to train your child, give them the right values. And you don't just, I advise do as I say, parents. Rather, be the do as I do parents. Be a role model, be an example for your children. Don't just be telling them, I want you to do this, I want you to do that. No, show them how to do it. Show
Be an
them this is the right
example.
way to live. If you don't want your child to be an abusive child, then do not be an abusive parent. Don't go about insulting your
Parents.
partners, insulting the neighbors. Just show them how it is to live. So if it basically it's the parents. Yes, for me, the parents first. You have to train them, show them.
And what do you also say about teenagers who would leave the advice of their parents, the values they are being taught at home, and then they leave, maybe those who go to school, or maybe they get an opportunity to be separated from their parents, and then they go elsewhere doing something else. What do you think? What do you think is the problem, and how do we curb that?
First, never be far from your children. they might be in other states, but still be in a constant relationship with them. Have a relationship with your children where they can tell you everything and anything. Not like when your children go do the wrong thing, when they go the bad way, they should not be scared to talk to you. Instead, they should not, when they do something wrong, they should not run from their parents. Instead, that should be the right time when they run to their parents and be like, Mom, I've done this. So
Yes.
that's why I say it's the parents. Basically, the parents have a very strong role to play. Just like when we offend God, it should not make us run from God. Instead, run back to God and just acknowledge your mistake. So that's what parents should know. You don't scare your children off. You don't scare them off. Instead, you should have that relationship where they can tell you. That's what make teenagers go astray. They do something wrong, they know that it is wrong, but they have nobody to talk to, because they feel like, if I tell my mom that I did this, she's just going to kill me. You should not be scared of your parents killing you. Instead, you should know, oh, I have done this and I'm so wrong, so let me go back to my mom. She's the only one that can tell me how to do this. Let me go back to my dad. So it has to be the parents. Yes. And when children get affected by peer pressure, you need to understand that those people that have influenced them too, they have a parent. They have parents. So you train your child, let me train my child, let another person train their children, so that when the children come together, we know that they are all products of good parenting. Not like one has bad parenting that will influence the one with good parenting. Do you understand? Yes. So
Yeah.
that's you.
Okay. You see, more people need to know the right thing, because when everybody knows the right thing, then we will not be talking about, oh, who is influencing who. All right? That's
Yes.
beautiful. That's really beautiful. I think I have more questions.
Okay.
Okay, you are a teenage advocate and a pioneer to the Delight House Foundation. Like,
Yeah.
what does the foundation to do, and how have they been working on helping teenagers?
Okay. We visit secondary schools basically to talk to teenagers.
Alright.
And we just talk to teenagers about the right way to live. We visit orphanage homes to give them gifts and use as an opportunity to talk to them, talk to their guardians on how to teach them the right way to live. So that's what the Lighthouse Foundation is for. We are called to the teenagers to tell them what is right. We have been there before. We have probably made mistakes. We have made mistakes, and we do not want the mistakes to keep going around. Learn from my mistake and just build yourself. So that's what the Lighthouse Foundation is for. Impact the teenagers, change the teenage world.
Wow. I like the part where you said, learn from my mistakes. I tell people, it will be very wrong for you to have seen somebody who made a mistake and is facing the consequence, and you allow the same mistake to
Mistake.
happen to you. Like, you make that same mistake. It's really, really, really bad. Like, totally bad. You've heard from someone who made a mistake and has told you, oh, this is the result of my mistake and this is what I'm facing. You don't allow that same thing to happen to you,
Yes, yes.
which
And
is which is
people should
what
not be
everybody
scared
needs to
to
know.
share their experience. Don't be scared to share your mistake. You don't know who your mistakes is going to
Yeah.
inspire. So someone might
Uh,
just need to hear your experience to change. That's
mm, mm. That's beautiful. Like, I'm really enjoying this. I'm really enjoying this talk. Um. Okay, it's been a while. I don't know how long you've been writing. I don't know how long. Tell us how long you've been writing. Is this something you started from childhood,
yes, yes. Writing for me
or
has
you're
been
just
really fun. I
perfecting?
write everything. Once I travel, I'm always in my notepad. I just want to take note of everything and anything around me. I write a lot. I just love writing. So it has been something that I've been doing it for a very long time. But when I realized that it's not just about writing, you need to build. So I decided to take courses on writing and just become better in my field. That's it. But I've been doing writing
Mm.
for a very long
Okay.
time.
Okay. Like, do you want to share the courses you take? I want people who are listening to also learn, because this talk is for people to learn, so they go back
Yeah.
home and go and practice the things that they heard from you, and also understand that, okay, your experiences can help them grow. All right? Can you share what you've been able to learn so far in writing?
I took courses in copywriting, content writing, and creative writing. These are the
Okay.
part of writing that I took courses on, because I realized that it's not just about the talent. You need to build, you need to learn from people that have been there, you need to have mentors. And I have people that write a lot, do you get? So I learned from them, I showed them my work, they correct it. I'm open to correction, I'm open to mentorship. So that I feel like if
Which
you
is
want to go into writing, you should not be scared, you should not be too proud to learn from people. You should not feel like you have known it all. You need to you there's always a point where you need to grow. There's someone that knows better than you. So that's what I did. I took courses, I listened to people, I have mentors, of course, that puts me through.
which is the fastest way to grow. Having mentors, like it's really something anybody who wants to be successful needs to know. Like you don't stay on your own feeling like, oh, I can walk through it. You need mentors, you need people who are also in your circle.
Yes.
Um I know that you've been able to join groups and meet with people who you're learning from. Um you have people who are really good at writing and you want to be like them or get to their level. Can you mention some of them so would would hear?
Apart from people that I cannot meet, people like Dan Log, those ones I cannot, I just read their books. But personal people that I can relate to, I have a mentor. She is Joy by name, Joy Egochie. She takes courses on writing. She has written 2 books, and I'm so proud of her. So I have mentors around. Joy is one of them. She's one of them. I have Kaya. I have lots of people that I go to once it comes to this writing thing. I know that yes, they have gone far ahead of me. They have done a lot of things. So
Which is nice. I really enjoy that. I tell people to always try to look out if there is any field you are, try to look out
yeah,
for people in your circle, people who are up there. It makes it easy for you to climb up very fast.
yeah.
And then I would also like to know if you face any challenge in publishing, if you face any challenge with trying to get people to see your work. Because what we face in this part of the world is like it's a bit difficult for us to like sell ourselves to the world. Even now social media has come in, which we're trying to leverage to sell ourselves to the world. Like, have you faced any problem with the publishing of your book or selling of your book? Any of them?
Yes, I faced a lot, because when I was going to launch the book, I had people say to me, say to my parents, she's too young. Why is she writing the book? What does she know about the teenage life? She just left the teenage. And I'm like, because I just left the teenage life should make you know that yes,
Tell
I
me
know.
you're doing.
So I faced a lot. It almost got to me, but I just told myself, no, I have to do this, because I don't know who is going to read that book and their life is going to change, who is going to read that book and get impacted. So I'm not going to allow anybody to get to me. I'm not going to allow anybody to talk me down. I faced a lot of challenge. A lot, a lot. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. I see the way you say it, like it feels like, oh, you passed through a lot. And like we tried to like find solutions to this. That is why our online store was created. And I reached out to you. I had to talk to a couple of people, and then I got to you, and I told you that, oh, I'd like to have your book on the platform, which is because we want to tell African authors to the world. We want to see that, okay, if you have a book, you don't really need to start struggling to know where to publicize it. Like we do the publicizing for you instead of going through the stress of trying to sell the book. All right. And yeah, I will tell everybody who's on here, please go and check the Magesh online store. You can type Magesh on your browser and then you would see the store. The store is out there. You can download Letter to a Dear Teenager. Very cheap. It's very like you're just literally taking it. So please read the book. It's very impacting, very, very impacting. The review is also on the blog. my guest blog. My guest blog, you would find the review of this book. It's really beautiful, like really beautiful. I don't know if there is any more thing you have to say. If there is any more thing you have to tell us.
Well, nothing much than yes, get the book, read it, share with people that you know need it, share to parents of teenagers, share to teenagers. There is a teenage child out there that needs to read the book and get impacted. Yes, there's a teenage child that needs to read the book and come out of low self-esteem, negative body image. There's a teenage child that needs to read the book and become better. Even a teenage just parents that need to read the book and become a better parent and know how to
Same here.
deal with your teenage child. So that's all I
Yeah.
have to say. Yeah.
And yes, also watch out for the next book she will be releasing. Like she'll be publishing another book, like she already said, which is like a continuation to what she has now. Letter to a dear teenager, just like accentuating it for you to understand that oh, you can do better. All right,
Yeah.
and then follow her. Follow her. You can check out on. Please can you tell us your handle so you get it right?
Temimo, yeah, THEMMIEOMO underscore. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So follow her and yeah, you will definitely learn more. We would, we would love to all meet at the top. Yes, we would love to all meet at the top. So I think I should let you go. I know you have a tight schedule. You're always busy. I don't know, but I really appreciate that
Thank
we
you
were
very
able to
much.
have you here. Thank you so much for impacting. Thank you for answering our questions. Thank you for sharing your experience. It's wonderful. Like it's beautiful talking to you. And keep being beautiful. Keep being beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Good to be
All
here.
right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah.